Welcome everyone to the hill that works. That's the nickname of this area in Lyon called La Croix-Rousse. It is the Red Cross neighborhood. It was known for being a working class neighborhood for nearly a century. It was the capital of the silk trade here in France. Now it's a very hipster neighborhood and quickly changing to becoming quite gentrified. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Today we're going to explore the historic hill here in beautiful Lyon. Yesterday we went to the hill that prays, the Fauvière, and today we're going to the hill that works, La Croix-Rousse. And this is a mural to show life here at La Croix-Rousse and what makes it very special. So we are already starting to see the stairways that we're going to pass by through this journey, the huge apartment buildings that were also proto-garment factories back in the mid-1800s, and all the various storefronts. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's explore La Croix-Rousse. Let me show you more of the mural. This, back in the 1980s, was just a blank wall, and there was a lot of traffic all around it. And then the people of the community wanted to revitalize this area. It was basically, you can think of this almost like the Soho of Lyon, France. So welcome everyone. I'm so excited to explore this neighborhood. It actually has like a lot of character to it. So it's like if Soho were built on a hill. You can think of it that way, or the garment district in New York City. Has that kind of working class character, huge buildings, but also a lot of artists and a lot of knick-knack shops and beautiful clothing stores and cafes and little passageways. So let's explore Lyon. Now these are actually life-sized to scale. That's so cool. You can see actual scale drawings of people. If you were just passing here randomly, you might take a second look and say, oh, wait a minute, that's not real. It's an insurance bank. That's funny. That's what happens in every neighborhood that gentrifies. A lot of the nice clothing stores and record shops become banks. I'm not sure if that is some type of social commentary. Here's a little puppet show. So as we briefly saw yesterday, marionettes actually played a very important role here in Lyon, similar to how it did in Brussels, Belgium, because puppets were used to make social satire in a way to criticize political figures or the clergy without outright making it obvious. So that was a way to circumvent any laws that were against making content that would upset the social order. And yeah, the kid has cotton candy, yeah. And soon we're gonna see one of these real stairs as well. So actually the tour guide I bumped into yesterday, his name is Didak, he does tours in the city. This is actually another aspect of the neighborhood. I won't really be talking about that today, but music has a very important part in Lyon's history. Oh, look at this. Bob back in the day used to hang out in Lyon with his Leonese bobettes. And he's forever immortalized right there. He's the one at the end, right there, forever immortalized in this. Kids breakdancing. I love that. Kay says, I love this street art, and there's more. And this is so weird because it looks so real. And I think they are commenting on the gentrification, because here we see a realtor, and here are the advertisements for the new houses. And we can see that they are pretty expensive, 182,000 euro, whoa. And we see a family here looking at it. Fascinating. Dia says, fascinating work. Yeah, and here we see a little girl with the logo of the tourism board, only Lyon. Not every city, but a lot of major cities around the world have their own tourism board, like countries do. This one's called Only Lyon. Only Lyon. And here we have, this is very pivotal to this neighborhood right here. This is a loom. This is the Jacquard loom, and how can we tell? Because there are punch cards over here. This was innovated right here in this neighborhood of La Croix-Rousse in the city of Lyon. The Jacquard loom was a big game changer because before it used to require multiple people to make any type of textile, to weave any type of textile. In this case, it was mostly silk. And also you only be able to weave using mechanical methods, very, very small amounts. But then Jacquard comes in with a brilliant idea. There was another inventor shortly before him thought of using punch cards in order to make a prefabricated design that would be replicated always to precision using a machine. Jacquard was the one who ended up making that work for only one person to be behind the machine, one weaver. And this was a game changer because this would ignite the entire garment industry here in La Croix-Rousse in Lyon, making it the silk capital, basically, of Europe. Now, this is also the prototype for the original computer, because you see those punch cards? That punch card system was what ended up being used for the very first computers of the 1900s. It's so cool that making textiles turned into computers at some point. And we can see kind of modern looms over here. And we see the patterns and the different designs. Wow. And the little black hat. I love that. Oh, look who we have here. We have Monsieur Pierre, le pigeon du Paris, our famous pigeon from Paris. And look who has made an appearance here. Xiomara from New York, the white pigeon. We haven't seen her in a while, Xiomara. And some of the windows are actually real windows. Wow, this is an amazing mural. We're gonna see another one as we continue walking around. All right, let's venture deep into the neighborhood. So 1987 was the original one, and here we see the original one. Not too many people in this one. And then it ended up evolving to the one we're seeing today. But here's how the wall looked like back in 1986. This is exactly what we need in New York City. And this neighborhood, if you're Puerto Rican, you might feel like you're also in Puerto Rico. At least I do. I feel like I'm hanging out in Santurce. I wish we would implement this in more American cities. We already have great murals like in Bushwick, Brooklyn, but there's way more murals that we can make, and also showing actual New York City history to actually teach both tourists and the locals what was the lineage of these neighborhoods like the Garment District or the printing district, also the newspaper area in Lower Manhattan. There's many other famous industrial areas that have been turned into beautiful residential neighborhoods. All right, let's cross. Ooh, quiet electric car. Wow. Hey, Sally, nice to see you here. Robert says people will graffiti over the mural in New York City. That is the sad truth, yeah. Lots of vandalism. Sometimes, if it's well respected by the taggers, they won't tag it. So right now in Lyon, these are the arrondissements of Lyon. Arrondissements are basically neighborhoods. Or you can even think of them as boroughs if you were to make a London equivalent or a New York equivalent. And right now we are on the fourth one, on the plateau that is on the hill that is 800 feet. We are at 833 feet. Hopefully we'll see views of it soon. Ladies and gentlemen and people of all genders, that is taller than the highest point in the Netherlands. So we're higher than all the Netherlands right now, and a good chunk of Belgium. So finally we are on a high place in the world. And here are the looms. That these buildings that we're going to pass through right now were built around the mid-1800s, and they were used as living spaces, similar to the tenements of the Lower East Side. And like the tenements of the Lower East Side, they were using looms. Looms were much bigger, so the buildings had to be bigger than what you see in the Lower East Side, because Lower East Side started more in the late 1800s, and that was with the sewing machine. These were with huge looms. DSS, what's a cool fact that you learned about France? So I'm not sure if you guys remember, I wore a sweater that kind of has a similar kind of look to this. And that type of sweater is called a Jacquard sweater. That type of textile technique was made right here in this neighborhood. So it's kind of cool to know that a cool sweater I bought in the UK is actually the same style that was developed here. And the name has passed on throughout the century. Susie says there's a place called the Loom in Bushwick. Oh, really? Usually New York places are not so creative with their names, so it might actually have been a garment factory at some point. Wendy says, where is everyone? At the beach. It's 97 degrees Fahrenheit, ladies and gentlemen. A nice cool 97 degrees Fahrenheit. I think everyone has left towards the beaches of South France. Oh, cool little garden, look at that. Miss Fancy says, is it hot in Lyon? Oh, it's mildly hot. It's only 97 degrees Fahrenheit, 32.5 degrees Celsius. Not too bad. Neobu says, yes, they are here in the south of France. Neobu, your poor home is being overrun by Leonese and Parisians and anyone from northern France, Normandys and Bretons. Wendy says, let's join them. As I mentioned, there is 1 month worth of French content still this month. Who knows where we go in France? Who knows? Monsieur Pierre, there he is. Nobu says also that all the Dutch, British, and Germans are also there. Oh no. Nobu. How can you even walk the streets? So here's one of the main shopping avenues. A lot of cool shops all around here. Here's a word we're gonna see a lot walking around. Ludo says, is Monsieur Pierre a family of Bob? No, they're not related, but they do know each other. Monsieur Pierre is from Paris. He's involved in, let's say, nefarious activities. We're gonna see this word a whole lot walking around. Canuts. This area, entire area, was filled with the Canuts. The Canuts were the garment workers here, the silk weavers. Some of them were actually Italian immigrants. Others learned their trade from those Italians. Of course, this attracted immigrants from many other parts of Europe. And here, we see what a normal Canut workshop would have looked like. Huge windows. And that's why we see in these buildings huge windows. Anonymous says that Colosseum yesterday was breathtaking. So, Anonymous, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad you enjoyed the theater yesterday. So, I mistakenly said that was a Colosseum amphitheater. There is a difference. Amphitheater is double-sided. There's seats on both sides. And also Colosseum is an amphitheater. Colosseum technically is just the one in Rome, but a lot of people call the other amphitheaters also Colosseums. The one we went to yesterday was only half, so it was a semicircle or semi-oval, and that was just a theater. So I mistakenly called it an amphitheater. Yesterday was just a theater. It was not a Colosseum. But stay tuned. We might go to a Colosseum today, because yesterday was not the only ones. Wendy says, let's go there again for the hell of it. No, there's another one I want to show you. Oh my God, tacos, what? Beautiful bookstore. Wow, very beautiful bookstore. Alexander says, you go fast today. Yeah, sometimes I walk faster. Other times I walk slower. Sometimes I speak very high and sometimes I speak very low. For life is always in variance. So here's an example of the many shirts that would have been made by the Canuts, the garment workers here, and the silk scarves as well. And this is the museum, the house of the Canuts, right here. Anamisu says, how was your TikTok meal yesterday? So Anonymous Dude is referring to a meal I had yesterday at Bouchon. It was delicious. Really, one of the best dishes I had was called the canal, which was this creamed pike fish mixed with eggs, done in this kind of quiche souffle style. It was very interesting. Filled with this beautiful broth of more creamed fish. And oh my, it made my heart sing with joy. It felt like I was nibbling on little clouds in the sky. Truly delicious meal. Highly recommend checking out that video. So we just passed by one of the museums. It seems very tight and it is very packed. So we're going to continue walking around. And feel free to ask me any questions. We're mostly strolling around, no particular path, but I do want to show you a few things. So we're gonna attempt to navigate there, though I've only been in this neighborhood once before, so wish me luck as we navigate around. So I'll play the video. It's as a YouTube short as well, but let's play it so people can see it. Let me pop it up. Might as well show you the beauty of the food I had yesterday. All right, as we walk around, let me show you the restaurant. Mika says, how did I sleep? I slept very well. Join me for a meal in the classic Bouchon in Lyon, France. Bouchons are basically eateries that sell traditional Leonese cuisine. Of course, wine is a must, and this is the salad Leonese. Bunch of greens, croutons, poached egg, and very fatty pieces of bacon, and oh my god, that was so delicious. And this is my main course, just kidding, is actually this. This is the canal. This takes about 20 minutes to prepare. It's creamed pike fish, done in a kind of fluffy egg style. It's really unique, and oh, I am really blown away by this. Every bite felt like I was nibbling on fluffy clouds in the sky, and I just had to eat every single last bit of it. And for dessert, the creme brulee. You can find this basically everywhere in America, but I wanted to try it out in France. Really see if it makes a difference. Yeah, It really does. You see all those little black bits in it? That was so much vanilla. It was a vanilla explosion. Okay, I'm done with the meal, and that was, ooh, c'est sublime. Stay curious, my friend. So there we go. That was my eating experience yesterday. It was an amazing bouchon. A bouchon is a eatery, classic eatery that sells traditional Leonese cuisine. Lyon has developed its own unique cuisine that, yeah, you might find some dishes when you go to Paris, but there's a whole host of dishes that you'll find here that you won't find in many other cities. And it's truly a unique eating experience. It's very tight quarters, so I couldn't film any on-field audio, basically. There was yet another crying baby next to me. I've seemed to be attracting them because everywhere I sit, maybe a train or a restaurant, there's always a crying child. But aside from that, it was also very tight quarters. So bouchons are very interesting. They kind of are similar to New York restaurants in that case. Hello, hello. Is anyone out there? Out there? Hello. Everyone slam that like button. After that meal, I felt truly good. Like I felt not sluggish, not full in a bad way. I felt very well satiated, but I felt almost refreshed. It was very interesting. There's not that many meals that I've had in my travels where it makes me feel refreshed. Even Italy, not too much. Italy was probably the second most interesting meals I've had in my life. But let me know, have you ever had meals like that you feel refreshed? Not necessarily because you ate anything super healthy. That meal by no means was like a super lean meal. So it wasn't like a acai bowl or yogurt with granola or a salad with like a Greek salad. It wasn't like that. It was refreshing due to the great quality of the ingredients. I think here we can kind of see why some of these places also grow it within the city. So we see La Gourmandesse à Coin de la Rue. I don't know how to really read this, but it says something about the inhabitants of this quarter, La Croix-Rousse. They are making regional fruits here in autumn of 2021. So they were making palms, which is prunes, plums, maybe? Peaches, maybe? Not sure. Framboise, which are strawberries or raspberries. Yeah, so raspberries, peaches, pears. They're also making kiwis. Jamie says good sushi is also refreshing. Yeah. Japanese cuisine is another type of cuisine that you feel that way after eating it. So Sakoshi says, I love when you explore places like this. I'm so glad you do. You know, sometimes I'm a bit afraid that it can be rather boring. Wow, cool tiling here. This is something normal that you would see in Lisbon, in Portugal. I haven't been personally, but it's known as the city of tiles. But here we see some tiles. Cool. Mika says, how's the French press? French press coffee is actually really good. It's different. It's like pour over coffee, but with more grounds, making it feel a little bit like Turkish coffee. It's like a more liquidy Turkish coffee. Ananasu says, I was very impressed with that TikTok video. Thank you so much. How do you compare expressing yourself on TikTok versus YouTube? It's a great question, Anonymous Dude. So on YouTube, it's much more meandering. TikTok and short videos are much more focused. Even the way I tell stories. I like to tell a good story, but I like to tell it long, so I kind of meander my way when I tell a story on YouTube. But on TikTok, you really have to get straight to the point. And it's kind of fun to get straight to the point. So that's the way they differ. But there are similarities. I'm still the one telling the story on both of them. And I don't script my videos on either. What is this? Whoa, crazy hill. We're like in Montmartre right now. Katrina says, out of the places you visited, if you were to go right now and live there, where would it be? London, Edinburgh, Copenhagen would be my top 3. Andrew says, would you do any more podcasting? Podcasting is such a very different beast. So I'm glad you enjoyed my podcast. So let's go on this boulevard next to it. There might be something a little bit more lively as we go further downhill. It's all downhill from here, ladies and gentlemen. All downhill from here. I hope you're ready. I mean like literally, not metaphorically, don't worry. We're gonna see some cool sights. Oh, so I'm glad you love my podcasts. I did maybe like 5 or 6 episodes. They're a different beast. To require scripting and editing. It's a lot of work. There is a great company called Parcast who already does amazing work in scripted, storytelling-driven podcasts. I don't even know if I can even offer something beyond that. I would be glad to be the narrator, but to do all that work myself, yeah, it seems a bit time-intensive. And then, and the interview podcast, you know, I tried doing it for travel. I just don't find it too interesting. So I don't find it too fascinating to do a travel style podcast because it's hard to have a really good conversation about travel. I've listened to many travel podcasts. I don't like the majority of them. Rick Steves is probably the only guy who does a really great travel podcast. Well, it's not really podcast, it's more of a radio show, but he puts it in podcast form. Anthony says, as an audio producer, if you need assistance with podcasting, I can help you edit. Oh, that's a great offer. Thank you. Oh, look, we're starting to see the views. Look at that. Wow. This is how high we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're basically, this is a mountain. I mean, if you were to think about it. It's 833 feet. Wow. So as I mentioned, apparently Lyon is not usually like this. And I am inclined to believe that it is busier when it is not vacation time. Most of Lyon is in vacation. And they, as Neobo mentioned, they're all swarming the south of France. They're all swarming Neobo's home. Neobo is a fellow YouTuber who does content in the south of France. Check him out. And I can say that that's probably accurate, even though I haven't seen them myself, Lyon, in another period, because I myself went to Paris in August, back in 2019, and you can see my videos there. It was indeed empty, aside from the major tourist attractions. Once you start walking around the residential neighborhoods, it was indeed empty. Which way should I go? I don't even know which way I should go. I think it's this way. Yeah. We got some signs. That's good. The Gros Caillou, the little pebble. Let's try to find it. It's a very tiny little pebble, but we gotta find it. That's what it translates to. Ooh, here we got a map, and we got toilets. Here we are, right now on the hill. We're now transitioning to the first arrondissement. So we're right here. We're gonna go venture down, 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 down. We're gonna visit this area. So we came from around this area. Yesterday we were on the hill that prays around this area. Ooh, a café, a comptoir. Look at all the lines for the buses. That's so fascinating. I didn't know the buses used overground lines. Because there's no trams here, not in this section. Anasu says, everything sounds better in French. Yes, indeed, indeed. I mean, it is a very romantic language. Wendy says, coffee. Yeah, you know what? I can go for a coffee. This is charming. Oh, cool. So pro tip, if you're coming to a restaurant, I do recommend trying the plates of the day, because here in France, they have a very good culture of giving you the best things that day from the chef's opinion. US, you might have to be sometimes a bit more skeptical when it comes to specials. I'll tell you why in a minute, but here are the specials of the day. So we got Touraine, the champagne salad. Ooh, interesting. Wonder what that is, the entree. Entree is an appetizer. We got the plot, which is the entree in American English, which is fish and chips. Not too interesting. I like fish and chips in the UK, not too much here. Dessert is ice cream of rum raisin with chocolate. Oh, interesting. That's fascinating. Susie says, I need another iced coffee. Dia says, how has your travel experiences changed? Wow, that's a deep question. But in short, I would say I've learned how to go more with the flow. And how to go with the flow despite challenges, despite not knowing. Oh, more coral street art. Wow, Brett gave a 10-pound super chat. Says, glad you went back to France, some of your best live streams. Also glad. I'm glad you're enjoying France. Thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, DS asks, how has travel changed me? Yeah, in short, it's allowed me to go more with the flow. It's very easy to get into a routine if you don't travel, if you kind of stay in a single place. Routines are beautiful. They can be very beautiful things. But sometimes a routine de-incentivizes you from going with the flow of life. And sometimes people kind of stick to the routine despite all adversity, despite resistance, despite things going wrong. And they kind of force their way through routine and routine and routine. And that's what sometimes causes in people to feel rather meh about life after a while. They feel a bit kind of tight. You feel like restricted. feel like a weight on your shoulders. There's a lot of different sayings we have for that feeling. But when you travel, especially without an itinerary like I'm doing, I just know where I'm staying, but I'm not sure what I'm doing in the cities. You get to go with the flow more, and you learn that the world takes care of you, in essence. It's simple as that. If you go to places, generally it'll be okay. Everything can be figured out. So just go with the flow, and sometimes you'll find much more interesting things by not planning than planning. That's not to say that planning is beautiful. As I mentioned, so many wonderful things come from planning. Some of the biggest projects in human history come from planning. Some of the best artworks come from hours and hours and hundreds of hours of planning. But on the other hand, also some of the greatest things of humanity have come from happenstance. Even scientific inventions. Just watch my videos on Nikola Tesla. So let's continue walking around. Ooh, modern building here. Sarah says, I really like your personality. I wish to meet you soon. Thank you for the advice. My pleasure, Sarah. Again, if you see me in the city streets, always happy to wave hello for a few seconds. All right, where's this little pebble? Why are we finding a little pebble, you may ask? Well, you'll see. You shall see. This is the park of the little pebble, all right? We're at 190 meters. Okay. It feels like autumn with all the leaves falling down, but no, it's unfortunately it's because there's a drought here. I hope France gets rain soon. Let me know if you want me to do a rain dance later on, and all of you join me from your living room as you walk your dog, from your backyard garden, from your workplace, wherever you are watching from, while you're doing transcendental meditation, whatever you're doing. If you want to join me for a rain dance later, do let me know. Because look at this. Wow. Go, 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 go. Marta says, hey, I'm in Copenhagen. Hope you're doing good on your day. Yes, I am. There it is. The large pebble. The one pebble to rule them all. This is more common in the northeast of the US. This is a bit more rare here in the middle of France. This is what's called the glacial erratic. Somehow this came tumbling down potentially from the top of the Alps. That's what a lot of people believe, because it's a rock called quartzite, matches the rocks literally on top of the mountains of the Alps. The Alps are nearby in Chamonix. And somehow this got all the way down here. But how did they find it? Because this was actually buried under many feet of soil. Wow. So this actually was moved here, and they were planning to build a stronger base for it because it's in the danger of tumbling down again and going to the other neighborhoods of Lyon. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Bonjour. So 2 meters high. This is more than 24 tons, apparently heavy. No, can't move it. Cannot move it. I'm trying my best here. Susie says that's where I like to be, in the Chile Alps, yeah. (1862). How do you get up here in the mid-1800s? Well, you have to walk, obviously. But it kind of sucks walking up this hill, especially if you are, say, a garment factory owner or somehow in management, or you have to transport goods. It kind of sucks that you have to walk here all the time. And this was the era before the car. So there was one invention that existed at that time. Railroad was expanding all around the world, especially in Europe and America. But here they innovated the funicular. And that funicular is a railway that goes up the slope, and one of them was going up here. So yesterday we rode only one of two funiculars that are left here in Lyon. But there used to be more, and there used to be one in this area. And as they were building that funicular, they had to carve into the hill, and they found this gigantic rock. And at that moment, they knew that this rock stuck out. It wasn't just a normal rock, it was a glacial erratic. So as we see in Central Park, the glacial erratics are still above ground. You see them also in Long Island, in New York. But here, this one was buried under a lot of soil. And they decided to preserve it. Also, probably would have been very hard to even use it. I'm not sure how they would use it, if there's any construction experts that are tuning in right now. Vinit says, how do you travel without income? Yes, Vinit, I make no money whatsoever. No money. I'm traveling, as many people prefer to believe, with a huge trust fund. Look at these views. Wow. DS says, where does she come from? Ooh, where are you referring to, DS? Marit says, many of us watch this at work for research. Yes, sure, Marit, yes. I'm glad you're watching this for research purposes. We will tell that to your boss when he tunes in himself, or he or she. This says, oh, the virtues of incomeless travel. Yes, yes. I just have unlimited trust fund. I of course, come from a great lineage of the royalty of Puerto Rico. Yeah. Whoa. All right, now it's hot. Oh my God. All right, let's hope that doesn't tumble down. They gotta better build the base quick. I think they have some type of... No, this is a light. This is to light it up at night. I have no idea how this is staying intact. And here you can sit down and enjoy the views. All right. Wait, do I go down this way? Let's see. No, I think we gotta go down this way. Katrina says, what's your favorite food of any place you visited? I think right now in Lyon is probably my favorite food that I've had. After Scotland is pretty much up there. I've had some amazing meals in Scotland. Wendy says that was Frank, the pigeon. Yeah, I guess they all visited Europe. All right, it's time for water and a hat, so bear with me. Anansu says, I'm an inspiration along with Mikey Chen, Mark Weens, and I'm so glad you put me along those ranks of those two guys. They're really cool. Mikey Chen, I really love his work. I'm really a fan of Mikey Chen because somehow he's really down to earth, and he makes videos similar to like I do. I like to think so, that they're immersive. You feel like you're hanging out with a friend. I kind of love that style. Mark Weens does a little bit more formal food vlogs. Oh, that's so good. Mont Rocus, the best water in Europe. If I were to have one water recommendation, try this one. Really, really great. Albany says, I love the hat. Oh, I'm so glad you do. I'm wearing COS. C-O-S. Al says, you should try to go by train to Saint Sebastian near Bordeaux, by Saint-Tropez and Cannes. You know that France is about the same size as Texas, so the distances, and also, the distances are pretty far apart. There's like 2 or 3 cities near me, but it's not that many. It's not like the Netherlands, where it's more densely populated and everything's like within an hour of each other. Sandy Pandy says, rare sighting of Ariel in the ball cap. Yes, don't tell my New York friends. Mathona says, hey, what city are you in right now? Hey everyone, Mathona is tuning in. Mathona has been so kind to give some amazing PayPal contributions, along with many other people like Carol, Kay, Jacob, Al, many other people. Well, let's give a round of hearts to Mathona. I don't see you commenting too much, so I'm glad you're tuning in nonetheless. So a round of hearts to Mathona for giving a PayPal contribution. She gave already a few, and she's tuning in from Ireland. And Mathona, right now, I am in Lyon, France. And right now we are in the huge avenue. Yeah, here we're at the huge avenue. Chris says, I'm enjoying the live streaming on the big screen. Oh, I'm so glad you are, Chris. So this right here is Boulevard de la Croix-Rousse, the Boulevard of the Red Cross. And it's because back in the 1500s, a huge cross was installed here, and it was meant to look red. That cross was dismantled by the late 1800s, early 1900s, and replaced with the statue of Jacquard, the guy who made the loom. And of course, France has been pretty heavily secularizing for the past 100 years. And here's a little bit more history. But before this ever was a boulevard, this was the ramparts of the city. So the city had some defensive structures around it, at least this part of La Croix-Rousse. They dismantled those ramparts, and by the 1850s, we have this huge boulevard with a lot of these big buildings. So we're gonna feel a little bit like we're in Paris. Mathona says, I never know what time you're on. Mathona, I'm on Thursdays through Saturdays at 3 p.m. Western European time, French time. That means it's 2 p.m. Irish time. So this was the funicular station right over here. Look at that. That's so cool. That's how they found the glacier erratic. The current sports pitch was once the location of the Croix-Paquette funicular station, inaugurated in 1891 and demolished in 1972. No! Why do you demolish good public transportation? We need funiculars in the Palisades of New Jersey. That would be nice. On the 21st of June, 1943, Jean Moulin, who's the leader, one of the main leaders, one of the main heroes of the French resistance, right here. This guy went through a crazy, crazy journey in life. Colonel Emilia Schwarzfeld together took this funicular, known in Lyon as La Felice, which means the happiness, maybe, the joy. They crossed the boulevard de la Croix-Rousse to take the tramway line 33 heading to Cloire. Jean Moulin had no idea that these would be his last steps as a free man. He was arrested with his companions at the villa of Dr. Dogojun in Cloire. I'm not sure, sorry, pardon my French. As the Germans, I was about to say the N-word, as the Germans took over France, Jean Moulin was being forcibly convinced in order to sign some documentation, in order to implicate a troop of African descendant soldiers in the French army for raping and doing heinous crimes. Jean Moulin knew that this was completely incorrect, that they were being falsely accused. And he refused to sign this documentation by the Germans. I'm not sure why the Germans wanted to target this specific troop. Maybe they had something against them personally. But nonetheless, he refused. And when he refused, he was taken, tortured, put into a prison cell with a man who was dead, previously tortured as well. So he stayed in the prison cell with a rotting corpse, and he did not want to give any more information. He didn't want to be tortured any longer by the Germans. So he decided to take his own life. He took a shard of glass and slit his throat. But wait a minute, isn't he the hero of the French resistance? Well, one of the German guards actually heard him in the distance and rushed him over to the hospital. He ended up becoming free after that, and that's where his French resistance days started, in collaboration with Charles de Gaulle and the other heroes. In his final days, as he was taken down this funicular into the nearby town, he was also tortured. His nails were all taken, snapped off by the butcher of Lyon. It was a very heinous war criminal of the Germans who probably committed some of the worst atrocities when it came to torture of prisoners of war here in the entire World War II. Took every fingernail, cracked each knuckle with a slamming door, repeatedly slammed the doors until his knuckles were basically non-existent. And then he died from internal bleeding shortly thereafter. He died just shortly, only a little bit afterwards. France was liberated by the resistance, Charles de Gaulle, and by the Americans who came in. If he only hung in there just a little bit more, he would have survived and seen a free France once again. This was one of the places where Jean Moulin actually conducted a lot of his French resistance operations. He used the triboules, which we saw one yesterday. Hopefully we'll see another one later today. And these triboules were secret passageways all around this city. They were built as shortcuts between these long streets. They were used by the Canuts themselves in order to evade people who tried to clamp down on the revolts. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But also in order to keep their silks when they were working away from rain and the elements. So Jean Moulin used these same passageways in order to evade the Germans, in order to get a heads up on them and cut off their communication lines, target specific officers. So he was a big enemy of the Germans during that time. Adam says, when was this? 1944. Jean Moulin. Let me know exactly when he died. if anyone can find out the exact dates. He's now seen as one of the top heroes of the French Resistance. Is this a statue? All right, we're gonna cross the street. Here's one of the buses. This buses go from the nearby train station in Lyon all the way up to here. So if you're doing Lyon as a day trip and you're staying in the nearby city, it is possible to come up here quickly, take the bus. Al says from Lyon to Saint-Tropez is a 3.5 hour ride, about $80. Leaves every 4 hours. Yeah, you know, from my experience, I would recommend doing day trips. Day trips, if the train ride is 2.5 hours or less, and they pass by frequently, meaning an hour, or at least bi-hourly, every 2 hours, then yes, it is doable as a day trip. I would recommend against doing day trips that with train rides that take more than 3 hours. It will be pretty kind of hard to do. You'll be tired out by the end. So as I mentioned, La Croix-Rousse ended up getting its name from a big red cross that was installed here in the 1500s. But in the 1800s, it was replaced with this statue of Jacquard, J.M. Jacquard, the guy who innovated the loom and my sweater. I have two sweaters, two Jacquard sweaters that I bought in England. Raul is watching from India. Welcome. This guy has an awesome, oh my God, he has an awesome jacket. I want that jacket. Jacquard, where you get your jacket? And the vest, look at that vest and the frilly scarf thing he has. Oh my God, this man's well dressed. Someone let me know where I can buy this jacket here in France. Susie says soon it'll be turtleneck season. Yeah, indeed it will. Wendy says he bought it at Primark. Somehow I doubt that. Somehow I doubt that. Hey, Unspecified V says, oh, thank you so much, Unspecified V. She put out the exact dates. Jean Moulin died on June 21st, 1943. And France was free July 8th, 1943. Thank you so much. So just a month, less than a month, a few weeks. Susie says, sorry, Ariel, summer must come to an end. The beauty of the world is that there's always summer somewhere. The moment it starts getting cold, I'll just go down to the Caribbean. Maybe Australia, maybe New Zealand, maybe Argentina, and live a forever endless summer. Ooh, a boulanger. Oh, this is Eric Kraser. Oh my God. So Eric Kraser used to be a big chain as well in New York City, opened by a French boulanger of the name. However, they shut down in New York City. It's so sad. There's no more Eric Krasers in New York City. There's a little supermarket here. Almo says the butcher of Lyon lived until 1991. Wow. Do remind me of his name. Yeah, I'd rather not talk too much about him. I don't think those type of people deserve to really to be remembered. But wow, pretty heinous that he got to live so long. So Chris says Eric Kraser has a good formula deal, which is a drink, a sandwich, and a dessert as well. Yeah, yeah. I haven't tried really Eric Kraser here. I tend to go to the more individual boulangers, but in August you're not gonna have too many options. So if you see Eric Kraser, it'll be good enough. It'll be good enough. Almo says the butcher of Lyon was Klaus Barbie. Yeah. A lot of things are closed. I think this is a famous chocolate shop. Or no, this was a famous provision store. And here we have a boulanger also closed. No. Why must the French take vacation? Why can't the French be like Americans and work all year round? Only 1 week of vacation. Oh, I think this one might be open. Sunshine! Sunshine says, good day to you with the $5 super chat. Thanks for the replay. My pleasure, Sunshine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Avalon says, now U.S. passports could be renewed online. Wow, that's good news. I love the tree-lined streets. I'll try to cross. Let's cross. Love says, have a great weekend. Thank you so much, Love. I appreciate you. Oh, there's a butchery. A butcher, oh, interesting. Hey, bonjour. Bonjour. Making a video about the neighborhood. Can I show the store? Yeah. Awesome, thank you. Oh, perfect. This is one of the famous chickens, right? Right here, the poulet fermier. Yeah, it's amazing. And do you recommend anything that's easy to eat on the go that I can buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one or this one?
Oh no, no. How about these? The
yeah.
They come in small.
But to travel? Or
yeah.
not?
What?
To travel?
No, no, to eat now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one?
How small can I buy a slice?
Specialty.
Which one do you recommend? That one?
Apricot,
Yeah.
pork, and pistachio.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll have a small slice of that. Wow, this is a beautiful
French
fish.
specialty.
Yes, Leonese specifically, right?
Leonese.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, that's perfect actually.
Let's go!
Nice. I thought you were going to slap it, like samurai style.
Okay.
Awesome,
Anything
and
else?
that's all. You guys are pretty well known, right? Because I saw you guys in a few like food blogs. Yeah.
All of that is homemade.
All homemade. Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Just here.
That's really cool.
11:32.
All right.
Please. want a bag?
Bag, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. And the receipt as well, please.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do YouTube videos around the world and show people all different cities. I'm doing Europe for 3 months. Yeah. Awesome, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, please.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Have
Have a good day.
Bye. Yeah. No.
This?
Yes. No. Yes.
There we go.
Hey.
Thank you. Have a good day. I think we just got there right before closing. Almo says, nice to meet you. Avalon says, I hope that was not the butcher. Oh no, this was a different butcher. Wow, that's an expensive thing. Why is it so expensive? It was 11 euro. But let's try it out. This is Matisse. Oh, Matisse, just like the artist. L'artisan de la viande. Wow. Unspecified V says a good wine would be good at this moment in time. Yes, it would. Yeah. Wendy says it's a pork pie. Yep, in essence, it's a pork pie. There's some similarities to the one from England. Dia says, I've been inspired to visit France because of your live stream. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I see chairs down there. I'll do it here. So any French urbanists, let me know, why is it so expensive? 11 euro. Is that normal? I think in the restaurant, yeah, you'll be spending 20 maybe for this served as a dish. Yeah, 11.32 euro was this. It's heavy though. It seems like a lot of food. So I might bring the rest to eat after the broadcast. But Maureen is sponsoring this short food break. $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Very expensive for a slice of pie. Yeah, very expensive. I mean, for 11 euro, you can almost get a medium pork pie in the UK. In England specifically. But it is hefty. It is hefty. Mika says, yes, that is expensive. Yeah, let me know, French urbanists. Is this normal? Is it because we went to like a really fancy butchery? Do let me know. But look how gorgeous this is. Oh my God, this is a gorgeous pork pie. Wow. So we got pistachios and apricots. Odd combination. I'm usually not a fan of the pistachios in cured meats. And there's the jelly, similar to what we see in the UK. But of course in the UK it's all encapsulated as one singular pie. Here we have a slice. So let's try it out. Wow. Mika and Nobu says, yeah, it's expensive. You went to a more fancy butchery. Okay, thank you so much for clarifying. Let me know, how much do we usually pay for this, French urbanists? How much usually you would pay? Nonetheless, there's a lot of win here. Nonetheless, this is amazing. Full, huge pistachios inside. It doesn't quite feel as fatty as English pork pie. English pork pie kind of has a little bit more kind of fattiness, more saltiness. I love an English pork pie. The Milton Brewery, I always forget the name. Do remind me what the name of the pork pie is. Great taste. It tastes great. Room temperature. This you can eat at room temperature. Mmm. Mmm. Tastes like a big, thick slice of ham. This would go well with a cup of wine. It's a big slice of ham. Has that kind of very strong cured taste to it. But not salty. It's not salty, it's not smoky. So there's a kind of a lightness feeling to this. The pastry itself is also minimal. So it's not as pastry heavy as some of the English pork pies. Overall, this is amazing. This is going to go down really heavy, so you might not even want a full slice of this. I want to try a bit with the apricot. The apricots are in here as well. So DS says, usually these are served with a light salad on the side. They're expensive because it requires a lot of work and technique to make these. Interesting, thank you so much. Eileen says, what's the exchange rate? It's almost 1-to-1 at the moment. So it's not crazy exchange rate. Do you think the filling is too much or just enough? For the money's worth, I'm glad it has more meat. I would say just enough. There's sometimes, I like the English style meat pies. I love the English style meat pies. They tend to be very bready, some of them at least. But I like that this one is more kind of packed with the cold cuts. Wendy says it needs some mustard. And Paul says the pork pie is Melton Mowbray. Thank you so much. Melton Mowbray. Have you eaten foie gras yet, says Alex. No, I haven't eaten foie gras yet here. No, not yet. I can't wait to eat some foie gras. Foie gras. The apricot looks like an egg, yeah, but no, it's apricot. That is so good. Oh my God. Oh, the apricot just adds an entire new layer to it. You get that rush of sweetness. Oh, wow. That citrusiness, that sweetness. Oh. Oh, adds a whole new dimension to this. Wow. Oh, I love that. Anasu says, I'm living vicariously. Stone fruits and pork are a great combo. Says Tammany. Interesting. Rico says, oh, never mind. You said it's good, the food. Yes, it is. Do you get yourself a drink with that? So they only had bottles of wine in there. That's more of a butcher. Luckily, this is edible immediately, but that's more of a butcher, so you're not gonna find drinks at a butcher. Here, stores tend to be very specified, especially when it comes to food. So if I were to get a drink, to get a cup of wine, I would have to go to this cafe across the corner, which I can do right now. It's not normal you can't take out food that you have brought from somewhere else, so don't do that. Otherwise, I would to go to a corner store, which there are a lot in this area, and just buy some sparkling water or something like that. DS says, this is making me crave a New York niche. I don't like the New York niche too much. It's too heavy. That definitely feels heavy. I have one more bite of this. This is delicious. Wow. Wow. Try these pork pies. C'est magnifique. It's heavy. You're gonna need some salad with this. I would not recommend eating it alone. It's crazy heavy. Look like I got some water. Susie says, it's making me crave vanille. Yeah. There is some similarity with the taste. Yeesh. Yeah, that's heavy. Ooh. Taste must be deceiving, but ooh, it goes down like a brick. Yeah, don't be deceived by the taste. Oh my. I'm gonna need what's a good digestif? Let me know. Kay says make sure it doesn't go off in the heat. Yeah, if it gets too hot, then yeah. No, but just in case. Don't get me started on pernil. Oh my, pasteles es 10. Oh wow. And Susie, hello. Welcome. Nice to see you here, Susie from Edinburgh. Alonso says, I say you have 7 more glorious bites. No, I think that's quite enough. I think I had too many bites right there. Yeah, that's something you need a salad. No wonder they serve it with the salad. Adam says, is 1 slice enough for lunch? It pretty much is. I think you'll need to combine it with some type of salad. Drink it solo might be too much. Wendy says, very filling indeed. Oh yeah. No, beautiful. So pro tip, you can usually just sit down, but don't sit down at the places with fork and knives and the table set. If the table isn't set, you can just sit down right away. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Il est un peu plat.
Tammany says, why are there so many leaves on the ground? I can't tell you 100% for sure, but I think it might be due to the lack of rain. France is going through some droughts. Very relaxed atmosphere, says Heidi, yes. Bonjour. What type of white wine you recommend? It's very refreshing.
Yes,
White, blanc.
yes.
Yeah, well, which one do you recommend?
Okay. I think Macon. Really fresh.
Okay, perfect. 1 glass, 1 bit. Merci. I switched to immediately to English just for the sake of easiness, but it would be more polite to attempt a little bit of French. But here, as long as you say bonjour, I think you can switch to English in major cities, Paris and Lyon. I think you'll generally be okay. Wendy says, oh my, I could drink wine, yes. I didn't see the trees turn color. Yeah, Tammany, I think it might be due to the drought. Ananistu says, this is so beautiful. They make paintings with this. Yeah, let me show you. Look at that. Dia says wine is supposed to be exceptional in France. Each region brings its own essence in wine. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Cool. So, look how inexpensive the wine is. Especially once you start leaving the touristy area, you're gonna spend €1 or €2 less. It's not gonna be as cheap as Spain, unfortunately, but it's $3.80. Look at that. $3.80, and it's a nice cup of wine. Big. It's not those tiny little cups that sometimes America does. Nice normal cup of wine. For some reason, they gave me some ice. I assume because I said refreshing, so they might have assumed I wanted some ice. Kind of them to think so. Eileen says very reasonable, yeah. All right, let's try it out. Adam says for a bottle, if this is $3.80, I think the bottle might be around 16 to 20 euro. I don't think it might be that expensive. Wow. Oh yeah, it is very refreshing. Oh, super refreshing. Kay says, I love ice and white wine. Let me know if this is normal. Yeah, this is super refreshing wine. Kind of get notes of like watermelon, peach, not peach, pear, watermelon, pear. Maureen says, are you old enough to drink? Show ID. So we just came from a country called Belgium, where the drinking age was 16 years old. Here, I think it's 18. I generally don't see kids drinking. I don't think they would serve kids, but yeah, it's pretty young here. It's 18. Not like America's 21. Adam says, I get confused when it's portion sizes. Yeah, sometimes the US, it depends. US, sometimes they give you a tiny little cup. There's one that's smaller than this. And then there's the larger one. And then you can be like Johnny Depp and get the mega pint. That's a different cup of wine. Sometimes you'll see that like in Las Vegas or very touristy resorts. But this is the normal size for a cup of wine. Neptune Sir says, life is good. Drink, love, and travel. Yes. So as I mentioned, there's no table setting here. So if there's no table setting and you're out on the terrace, you can just sit down immediately. You don't really need to beckon the waiter says a table for one. If you intend on eating, then usually ask for a table so they can sit you at the place with the table setting. But generally out here, you can just order a cup of wine or maybe order a light appetizer. It's generally okay. Lorraine left a $10 super chat. Oh, thank you so much, Lorraine. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Get curious about your necklace, says Hasrati. It looks so attractive. Yeah, this is Our Lady of Guadalupe. I bought this at Portobello Road Market in London. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the beautiful image of the Virgin Mary that is in Mexico City. I did 2 episodes on it, actually. 2 different videos on it. It's really mind-blowing. Wendy says this, Chenin Blanc. Ooh, not sure what this type of wine is. I don't know my wines too well, so I have no idea what this wine is. Roxanne left a $10 super chat. Oh, thank you so much, Roxanne. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Roxanne. Leaving a super chat tonight. Two more. Roxanne says 2 more drinks. It's really hot. I would recommend not having that many drinks, but thank you so much, Roxanne. I appreciate you. In the middle of ancient times, they had to put wine in the water to kill the bacteria. Even the kids had to drink some wine and water, yes. So wine was the drink of choice for the Roman Empire, and before them, the Greek Empire. The Romans liked to distinguish themselves from those darn barbarians, or the Belgae, or the Danes, or whatever other tribes there were outside their borders. They liked to distinguish themselves from those tribes because they drank wine whilst they drank beer, or worse, milk. And that's how they saw those other tribes as very low class because they drank beer. And if you drank milk, you were the worst of the worst. You were the most uncouth, most uncivilized barbarian out there. Wendy says, just get 6 more. Being a waiter is not a low status job, says Hyde, done by students in this, like in the US. Right. Yeah, here waiters is a full career. Some guys here work for decades as waiters. You'll see waiters generally of all ages, but usually you'll see waiters that are older than the age of 30 in France. So yeah, they're working full time. So they're not really dependent on tips. So that's why you get a different type of service in France. You don't get this kind of rush to give you high-end service all the time. You don't get this pressure of the person trying to get you to order more. If I were in the US right now, especially sitting outside, the waiter in the US would be asking me to order food. He'd be like, okay, what would you like for appetizer? Or what would you like for dinner, for lunch? And you'll be pressured to order food. You can't just order a drink in a US restaurant, most of the time at least. Especially in places like these, which in New York now we have more, but they're reserved for food. Anna Sue says, you look good drinking wine. Oh, I'm so glad you think so. I'll show you more of the views.
Ah non, aujourd'hui je vois ma meuf là, tu vois ton pote en même temps, tu vois. C'est pratique, c'est pas mal. Et là, t'as... Ouais. Ça va, c'est pas mal, là c'est bon.
All right, it's time to take out the cigarette to really immerse ourselves into the culture. Are you more of a wine or cocktail person? Says yes. Cocktails. Cocktails is my favorite type of drink. In my more normal life, if I'm not in France for wine, or if I'm not in the UK or Belgium for beer, I am a cocktail drinker. Even in Italy. There's some great wines. I've noticed the wines here are very good. But even in Italy, I prefer my cocktails. Susie says you need an ascot. Indeed, a nice linen suit jacket would be nice at this time of year. Hyde says the additional sales business model in the U.S. is kind of annoying. Yeah, because in the U.S. waiters make a tipping wage, so their wage is dependent on tips. They make less than minimum wage in the U.S., hence why there's a pressure to sell more. Also, in the business itself, if as a waiter in America you're not selling quite enough, you might be fired from your job. You might not keep your job for too long. So there's pressure on the actual workers themselves, the waiters themselves, to push more and more expensive dishes. And that's the issue with the US. That's why I say be wary of specials in the US. And DS might be able to speak more about this, being a food professional. There's a few others that tune in. So food professional urbanists, do let us know. But my impression is that Anthony Bourdain has spoken about this a few times, that in America, the specials sometimes tend to be the stuff that they want to get rid of immediately. And that's not necessarily of good quality. And hence they have a fish special on a Monday or a Tuesday. And he recommended that's probably the worst thing to eat in an American restaurant. I don't think it's so much the case here in France, especially outside the touristy areas. I think if you're getting a special, you're getting a good meal. There's an odd person. Let's wait until they walk away. More common sight in New York, not so common here. Chris says there's also the pressure to get you in and out in 30 minutes. Yes, there's no pressure here. I can literally linger over this for hours. It's only $3.80. The waiter will never bother me. Is tipping optional in France? So you may tip rounding up the bill. Maybe. Not really always necessary. So if you're paying by card, there's no option to tip by card. So I assume a lot of people are just not tipping. If you're paying by cash, you might just round up. So here's $3.80. I'll just give $4, and that's it. We're done. I don't even need to really call the waiter. I'll just leave it on the table. I think that's okay. Do let me know if that's okay. So yeah, it's pretty chill that way. And the pressure is also to get you out in 30 minutes, yeah. We don't have a big tippy culture here in Europe, says Veronique. Yeah, very, very rare. Dia says there's a lot of things that are jacked up in the restaurant system in America. We can learn so much from France and Europe. Yeah, it's so much more of a pleasure eating in Europe. As I mentioned, there's some great restaurants in America, but the fact that you're kind of pressured to A, speed up, B, you're generally pressured to order more expensive things. Alcohol is so expensive. So this right now in America would be $12. With 4 times the price. Wow, that was so good. It'll be 4 times the price in America. So, yeah, I think you might be better off. I'm gonna order a coffee and a dessert. And let me know if you want to see coffee and dessert, and then we'll continue our way. We still got like 2 or 3 stops left. Hopefully we can see the Colosseum, and hopefully we can see the passageways. But I might need some energy. So let me know if you want to see some coffee and dessert.
Et après, c'est que j'ai croisé beaucoup. Et que petit frère Axel, que Axel, le pauvre, à chaque fois, les 2 dernières fois que je devais le voir, j'ai oublié sa conversation. Il m'a dit, en fait, il a pas mort. C'est froid, mais. Bah, je sais pas parce que.
DS is a treasure trove of knowledge here for this culinary adventure. Thank you so much, DS. I appreciate you adding the extra insight. Every place we go, we always have a fellow urbanist who knows something about where we're going. Maybe history, construction, trains. In the Netherlands, we have a lot of people in Dutch culture. Un café, s'il vous plaît. And then do you have any desserts?
No, sir.
No desserts? Okay, just a cup. Actually, double. Yes. So Dia says he is right that specials are mostly made out of things they want to get rid of. However, in a good restaurant, a good chef would do wonders with anything. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you have to go to a good place. Yeah. Thank you so much, Diaz.
Oui, mais je pense que ça
Does France have poutine? No, poutine is a Quebecois thing. Quebec is the French-speaking region of Canada, and they are famous for their poutine, which is fries drenched in gravy and cheese curds, and sometimes with pieces of meat as well. It is absolutely delicious. I love poutine. But no, poutine isn't really found here unless if you go maybe to a Canadian restaurant. I assume there might be a few French-Canadian restaurants in Lyon. Maybe. There's foreign restaurants here, that's for sure. There's like Japanese, there's Venezuelan. Well, I think there's a 2 Michelin star restaurant or 3 Michelin star restaurant that's Venezuelan here. There's a few very interesting foreign cuisines. That toaster is misquoting me. The toaster says, Ariel said that he loves poutine. Poutine, French poutine, Quebecois poutine. Susie says no dessert. What kind of place is this? I don't know. Let me know why there's no dessert. Maybe because it's not dinner hours. So the reason might be lunch is served between 12:30 and 2, generally, sometimes 3. Between the hours of 3 and 7, there is no food service. That's why you see no one dining on the dining area or inside. So they do take a break, and it's pretty much ubiquitous in Lyon, especially with French cuisine. If you go maybe to a foreign restaurant, maybe some Japanese, maybe some Korean, maybe it'll be different. We pass by a tacos place, maybe that'll be different. Maybe a coffee shop is open until like 5 p.m. But generally you can't find any food between 2 and 7 p.m. So be sure to eat accordingly. Make your schedule so you're eating your food between those hours. And that's why there's no dessert service.
Non, mais tu sais, en fait, comme on a déménagé, on y allait. Mes parents, ma soeur et moi. Bah, en fait, quand on est allé le chercher.
Janet says you need a digestive. Yeah, well, when you're in a different country, you gotta adjust to the customs of that country. So if you really eat at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., you might be even from nearby. You might be from the Netherlands and used to eating at that hour. Or you're American, you're used to eating at that hour, Puerto Ricans as well. Buy some food to go. And make sure you pack it up, leave at your hotel, B&B. If not, one alternative might be, not in August, but any other time of year in France, boulangeries tend to have sandwiches, and boulangeries tend to be open at least until like 4 p.m., so you might have a light lunch at that time. Merci beaucoup.
Ouais, nous, c'est fait, on a pris une belle urne parce qu'on va le mettre sur le tableau là.
So look at that. So this is Café Richard. This is basically the Folgers of France. They're everywhere in France. They're not known for the best quality, but it's classic coffee. Or like Café Bustelo in like Florida or the Latin American countries. So, but great crema that they made here. So this is not a badly made coffee. This is a well pulled shot of espresso. That's good. Look at that crema. Ooh, looks good. And they were so kind enough to give a glass of water. Girl in the Curl says, do you smoke? No, generally not. I'm not opposed to smoking cigarettes. You do you, but no, I usually don't smoke. Very, very, very rare occasions. Sometimes it just feels right. But generally I don't. I prefer, if I do smoke tobacco, I prefer shisha, nargile, the water pipe tobacco. Cheers. Huh. Nice, good classic coffee. Very punchy, very flavorful. Kind of that bitter, acidic taste to it. Very typical what you would have with these larger brands. Café Richard is almost like also the Lavanza of France. Don't expect the best coffee. in French brasseries or cafes or bouchons, they're not going to be the best. Yesterday, the meal I had, everything was excellent. The coffee was the worst part. Don't expect good coffee, unfortunately. This place actually made it well, so I gotta give them props for that. It's actually a well-pulled version of Café Retard. HCC says, what's the best coffees in France? Yeah, in order to get great coffee that you're used to in Italy or had in the great coffee shops in New York or many parts of the US, you have to go to a coffee shop. So go to a specialty coffee shop. And they tend to be more and more in French cities. Paris and Lyon have quite a few. Just search coffee shop. And it won't be like the Netherlands. It won't lead you to a place to smoke. Luckily here, coffee shops are where they sell coffee. Crazy Auto says the only thing missing is the sound of an accordion. Maybe, yeah. You might be right about that. The beautiful sounds of the Amelie soundtrack. Hyde says, I quit smoking myself, only oregano now. Cool. Eileen says, no, you can't use that word. No, you can't, no. So, I'm not gonna say it too loud, but that means boy. So you wouldn't do that in America. Try doing that in America, oh my God. You might hear that in old American movies, but no, you wouldn't do that in America. I thought I saw an ashtray by the table. It's normal, Alfred, to have ashtray smoking right now, but it's normal. It's normal. Someone smoked earlier, but it's normal. All the tables out here have ashtrays. So again, if you're in France, be prepared that in some places, someone might be smoking right next to you. You can complain. You're going to be the one left out. In America, it's not normal anymore to smoke in the terrace part of a restaurant, no matter where you are, generally around America. But here in France and a few other countries in Europe, it's normal. So if someone's smoking right next to you, you just got to deal with it or move a seat. But just be prepared that someone else might sit next to you and also smoke. It's just normal. If you want to avoid it at all costs, then you have to sit inside. Hey, Almo says Curb Your Enthusiasm covered that once. Hey, I got to see that. I don't think, has Curb Your Enthusiasm ever traveled to Europe? Do let me know. I'm very curious. Barris says my eyes burned badly at the lounge when I was on the ferry to Greece. Yeah, it depends on the country. Greece also, yeah, there's a lot of smoking. Will you try crepes Suzette, says Susie. Crepes are more from northern France. So they're from the area of Breton and Normandy. I have one video on crepes in Paris, and I tried crepes Suzette in Paris. So watch that short video, and I won't be doing any more crepes. No, it's not common here. I've barely seen crepes here in Lyon. It's really not common. Eileen says, don't go Karen with smoking. Yeah, do not. Yeah, no, it's not. You'll be the one left out. Does France have smoking areas like the US? Not really. Indoors you can't anymore. I think that's been the case for 20 years. So you have to see indoors, but generally anywhere outside is okay. Do you ever smell oregano on the streets? Very rarely, DS. Very rarely are people smoking cannabis outside. Joe says in Europe the chefs smoke while cooking. I don't think they do that. I don't think it's allowed to smoke in the kitchen. I don't think it's quite Mad Men in the kitchens of France. So no, I don't think so. But that is a funny sight. A chain smoking chef. It's very interesting. Marit says no smoking at terraces in America. So you, New York, Seattle, Chicago, Boston.
Tu l'aperçois, après tu marches, et là, tu l'aperçois.
Those are. Have I been Maine? I've been to 5 different areas of the U.S. on live video, in an urbanist. All of them did not allow. Let me know. The U.S. is a big country, and each state has its own different rules, and sometimes each city has its own different rules. All right, I'm gonna finish up this coffee, and then we're gonna walk around a little bit more, show you more of Lyon. I'm really enjoying this beautiful area. It's nice and calm. It's actually a nice blessing that's calm. Oh, I like this. Another. Ooh, I'm gonna use the ice to put in my water. Oh my God, revolutionary. Chris says Las Vegas is really the only place. Have you been to Canada? Says yes. On Urbanist, I've only been to Montreal. Myself, I've been to Ontario, Ottawa, Niagara Falls, Quebec City, and Montreal. Andrew says, where do you acquire these cool t-shirts? I have a factory in one of my buildings in New York. No, I'm joking. I got this from COS. This is COS. COS, COS. They're actually a company of H&M. I really enjoy them. Really nice. It's like H&M but higher quality. And this hat as well is COS. Right here, COS. Is that real Kandinsky you're wearing? I think it's Kandinsky inspired, but no, it's not. It's not actual Kandinsky, as far as I know. And my daughter just got back from Ottawa, just had a great time in Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa is a beautiful city. It is nice. It's not really walkable, but it is nice. I wear sleeveless shirts, says Mike Hess. Nice. I got a sleeveless shirt myself. I got 2 of them. I haven't found the reason to wear them yet. It's not quite hot enough. It's only 97 degrees Fahrenheit right now. But maybe if I venture more into the sunnier parts of France, maybe I will wear a sleeveless shirt. Excuse-moi, l'addition s'il vous plaît. Great recommendation with the wine. C'est bon.
Ah, merci beaucoup.
Pushing, okay.
Non, mais oui, parce que moi j'ai une copine qui est en école de mode. En gros, bah, sa directeur projet, c'est concevoir un look et le faire, quoi, le style. Voilà.
Thank you.
Which way is the Colosseum, the Roman amphitheater?
Florian?
The Three Gauls amphitheater, the old Roman ruins. The Roman theater. The Colosseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, mais de là. C'est Fourvière.
Fuvia, no, not Fuvia. The one here in La Croix-Rousse.
Ouais, pour l'indiquer. Par ici.
That way, right? Yeah, it's
yeah.
directly that way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Have a good day. Ermi says, are you planning to do a vlog on Montreal? So, unfortunately, my Montreal vlogs are no longer up. Facebook deleted all my older live videos. I was invited by the International Jazz Festival to cover it. So I had inside access to Montreal when I covered it for a weekend. It was really awesome. I got to interview the guy who founded the jazz festival. He's really cool. He had quite a lot of stories about famous jazz artists. And I got to live stream the concerts, which is very rare. It's hard to live stream a concert legally, but I had permission to live stream concerts. It was a really awesome weekend. Let me know if you're an urbanist that has been tuning in for a while and remember that weekend. It was really fun. Maybe I'll get invited again and show you. Maybe I'll reach out to them and get invited again and do a live video series on it. I'll go for a commercial break, so I'll be right back. Well, you're coming with me, but I'm gonna play an old video. Eileen, Hazrati and Eileen says, wow, at the waiters. Lyon is very good looking on both genders, yes, yes. Nicole says, do you have a backup of those videos? Yeah, a good portion of them I do. All right, everyone, I'll be back. Let me see what video I can play. Back in 43 BC, ancient Roman times, the Romans were vastly expanding their empire. Julius Caesar was taking care of all those Celtic tribes that dared to defy him. This was an invasion in a scale that the world hasn't seen for many centuries afterwards. Millions and millions of people were victims to the constant battles between Julius Caesar and the Celts. But among those groups also included the Gauls. And once they conquered these lands, they established Roman Gaul, which is right at the epicenter, right here, in the modern day city of Lyon, but it used to be known as Lugdunum. Let's explore ancient Lyon here in France, currently the third largest city in all of France after Paris and Marseille. So welcome everyone, nice to see you here. This is the River Saône, and this is where the Romans decided to make their primary settlement. Across this peninsula, now it's a peninsula, it used to be at least a part of it used to be an island. So across this other landmass is the River Rhone. And we see this gorgeous church with two mismatched steeples. Really, really beautiful. It's because the steeples were built years apart. Kind of hope that Cathedral St. John of the Divine in New York City looks like that at some point. So why did the Romans decide not to go on the Rhone, but decide to go here on the Saône? They sound so similar. It's because the Saône was easier to manage than the Rhone. The Rhone is much larger. So they decided to make their settlement here. Also, they were right next to natural hill defenses over here, which we're gonna see ourselves. And I'll pull up a map of actually where the Saône extends. Right here. So that's the extent of the Saône, starting around here in Lyon and going all the way beyond Dijon, all the way further up north. All right, let's explore was known as Vue Lyon, which is the old city of Lyon, because most of the expansion in the 1800s was right over here in this landmass area, which we'll see at some points. But this one's even older. So bonjour mes amis, let me know where you're watching from. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. We're going to wander around Vue Lyon. No direction, no particular agenda, just to enjoy the sights, the sounds, the smells. Well, maybe I'll describe the smells to you. Maybe touch a building or two, who knows? Wendy, you're watching all the way from your sofa. Whoa, so far away, all the way from the sofa. Nobu is watching from France. Oh, Nobu. Watching from the country itself. Here we see a plaque. This is interesting. Always interesting to see some plaques over here. Let's see. Yes, they have in English. Yes. Apparently the Lyon Tourism Board. This is not, all right, there we go. All right, everyone. So, sorry about that, the audio. I hope you enjoyed the replay from yesterday. That was the other famous hill of Lyon. That was the hill that prays. We are right now the hill that works. That's what they call them, that's their nicknames. And we're gonna go for at least one of 3 different stops. The Colosseum, one of the passageways, or the mural. There's another famous mural here, so let's see if we can find them, and let's go here in La Croix-Rousse. Marie says, compared to New York City, people are more wary of you. Yes, yes. Lyon is pretty chill, luckily, with filming. But yes, just New York City is probably the most. New York and London, 2 of the most welcoming places to film. Ireland too. But yeah, once you start going to other parts of Europe, people look at the camera more interestingly. They don't quite know what I'm doing. Especially here in France, you don't have too many French vloggers, I think. Or I don't think there's not that many French live streamers. There's not that many, I think. Girl in the Curl says, wow, so not so many people. Yeah, it's desolate here. Ooh. Where's the hill that parties, says Eileen. That's more on ground level. Oh, a fromager. Oh. A cheese shop. Mike says empty streets. Yeah, I mean, everyone's on vacation. They're all at Nobu's house in the south of France. Woo. Damn, that sun. Who put up the brightness on this sun? Hey, lower it, please. Someone put some blinds on that sun. Girl in the Curl says, well, where's Alsace-Lorraine? Alsace-Lorraine is the forests between Germany and France. So, I don't know, that way. That way is Alsace-Lorraine. Tim says, is this your first time in Lyon? Yes, first time in Lyon. Girl in the Curl asks, is this where my grandparents came from? Well, Girl in the Curl, I don't know. You tell me. Beautiful grand buildings, mostly 1850s, 60s. Susie says, I know they asked me about Alsace-Lorraine. So the reason Alsace-Lorraine is in people's minds is because that forest in Alsace-Lorraine has been contested for many centuries between the French and the Germans. So it has kind of a culture of both. Especially in World War I and World War II, that area of Alsace-Lorraine was coveted by the Germans to take back from the French. But the thing is, it's very hard to invade because there's a very hard, thick, impenetrable forest that divides those two regions. And hence why the Germans in both world wars went around that region of that forest of Alsace-Lorraine through Belgium instead. And then the third reason you might have heard of Alsace-Lorraine is because a lot of the famous brasseries in Paris are from Alsatian immigrants or migrants that came. It's a bit complicated, but I think at that time in the 1800s they were a different country, or they were part of a different country. So they came over to Paris, and by the Belle Epoque, those brasseries became the main hangout points, and they all were inspired by the Alsatians. Lionel says the quiche might be from them. Oh, yes, yeah. A lot of things that are famous in Parisian cuisine are actually Alsatian. Also, the beer drinking culture is from Alsace. So that's why in Paris you might find a little bit more beer than you would find in Lyon or these parts of southern France. And it's because of that German influence or Alsatian influence. Anonymous says, if I ever get a European GF, you will be our tour guide. Susie says, I still don't understand my heritage. I am German, French, Irish, and Italian. Yeah, well. Oh, that's Girl in the Curl. Girl in the Curl, yeah, yeah. Look at this is another charming cafe. Look at this, wow. Hyde says the European governments are not taking the drought very seriously. Oh no, yeah, there's limits on water, yeah. Very sad. Ooh, a boulanger. Oh my god, there's one that's actually open? What? A boulanger is open? Oh my god. Alright, we gotta go into the one open boulanger, which is Bonjour. Oh, let me see. What? Yeah. Yeah. Rouge, yeah. chaude. Un pain de chocolat, s'il vous plaît.
Attends, chocolat. Ce sera tout?
Yeah. Oh, and badois.
Une badoie.
Merci.
Et voilà. Allez, une badoie et un pain au chocolat. Alors, 2,90. Merci. Bonsoir. 2,90. 3 et 5.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Bonne journée.
Au revoir, merci.
All right, I'm gonna have only a bite of this. The woman was like saying, I think she said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're red," and I just said "chaude," which means hot. That's why I fit in Scotland and Ireland, because it's quite normal for people to be red in those countries. I think Germany as well. All right. So the one boulangerie open in the entire Lyon during August. We found it. It is quite a miracle. It is a Leonese miracle. We found the one only open boulangerie. That's not Eric Kreiser. So Eric Kreiser is a chain. So we got a pain au chocolat, which is a pane filled with chocolate. Oh, I mean bread with chocolate. Super flaky. Look at that. Ooh, wow. Great layers on this one. Great layers since we didn't have dessert on the last one. You said un pain au chocolat like Emily in Paris. That was an Emily in Paris moment, says No Tombster. Oh, really? I have a feeling your French is getting better by the day, says Nicole. Ooh, yes. Oui, madame. Wow, that's really good. Great layers. Nice. Two streaks, two little turds of chocolate. That's how I like to think of them. Great layers. Well, we gotta do a test. Bear with me. There's a test here. The boulanger is gonna think I'm very weird for doing this. But this must be done. It must be done. It's really good. There we go. Nope, not see-through. Not see-through. Nope. Still good though. So it might not always apply to pain au chocolat. This is more for croissants. But if it's see-through, you point this at the sun and you can see through it, that means it's a master level croissant. It might also apply to pain au chocolat, but pain au chocolats are just naturally a little bit more thicker. So you end up getting a master level pastry. Okay, this one's not quite master level, but still really good. So really excellent. I got one more bite. C'est bon. Wow. And this is the best sparkling water here in France, in my opinion. Badois. Really great. Oh my God. I feel like royalty when I have a good sparkling water. Wow. DS says, wow, that looks dip worthy. It really is. Boulangeries unfortunately don't have good coffee. I wish they did. I wish boulangeries would dedicate to having good coffee as well. That would just be a godly combination. But no, they focus on just on baked goods naturally. So it's not like in the UK or the US where bakeries tend to have good coffee. Well, not all of them, but some of them do. UK, it's a bit more normal for a good bakery to have good coffee. All right, let's go. Barrett says, you're not too far from the French Alps. What? Are you saying that I'm right next door to the French Alps? Barris. No. We're being swarmed. They're keeping their eye out. C'est magnifique. Merci beaucoup. So Barris, yes, Barris does make a good point. We are close to the French Alps. Close in relation to France, because France is much bigger. So we're about 4 hours away from the French Alps. And it's about a 4-hour bus ride away. It's a little bit longer in train. Girl in the Curl says, watching him in this sleepy town makes me imagine his wife and even his baby. Girl in the Curl is doing some fan fiction. Girl in the Curl, who do you ship me with? All right, where you at, Coliseum? Coliseum, where you at? Eileen says, no trash anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty clean, the streets, yeah. It's funny, people like to complain that France is dirty. Something I hear from American tourists is like, guys, have you been to American cities? I mean, American cities are definitely better off than large portions of the world, but the French are doing something right along with many other Europeans. Girl in the Curl says, I ship you with a Dane, if you want to know. So Girl in the Curl has chosen to ship. If you don't know what ship means, it's a term used in the online world for making fictionalized relationships with your favorite online personalities or some type of celebrity or something like that, or character on the show. What is this? Ooh, I got a little battery left. Uh-oh. Dia says, is there any foods from America that you miss? I've actually made a short video on this that was posted on TikTok. Couldn't post it on Facebook because I'm locked out. I covered some very good burritos in Rotterdam. That is the food I miss the most, is burritos. I wish I knew where to go. I gotta start using my secondary phone. Robert says avocado toast. Yeah, I do miss avocado toast too. I haven't found a good one here yet. Sarah says, I want to know if you'll be live again tomorrow. The next live is tomorrow at 3 p.m. French time, 9 a.m. New York City time. Yeah, I don't know where the Coliseum is. I thought we would like kind of see it a little bit more obviously, but I quite don't know where to go. Have you looked at the street signs? Yeah, there's no signs that point us to the direction of the Coliseum or the famous passageways. It's like generally in this area. But I feel like I had to turn somewhere. Wendy says, do you miss New York? Not at the moment. I'm really loving Europe. Girl in the Curl says, use your phone. No, you know, the phone I'm live streaming with, I don't have my secondary phone. Though I may need to start using my secondary phone so we're not meandering too long. Wendy says, there's no one to ask. No, there's no one to ask. I wish there was, but no, it's literally empty. Nilbu says, where are you? We're right now at the boulevard of Croix-Rousse. The boulevard of Croix-Rousse. I'm not sure what's the intersection right now. Ask a guide here on chat. Yes, if someone can point me in the right direction. Let me show you. I am right now at 23 Croix-Rousse. Boulevard. Judy, the temperature here right now is 32 degrees Celsius. Mike says, what shoes do you recommend? I love my Converse high top, the sneaker type. They're very comfy. Turn left towards the river, says Robbie. We'll get a confirmation. Let me know. Left. But there's a lot of streets that we might get lost in. Cruzy says, countries packed with tourists. Really? There's a lot of tourists in Slovenia. It does look beautiful. It's down the hill on the slope. Yep, Joey. Yeah, definitely it's downhill. That I do know. Cue the song by Kate Bush. Okay. Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Alexa, play Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. So right now I'm at Boulevard La Croix-Rousse, if anyone could write it down, and Rue Bonny. Excusez-moi, the Coliseo, the Colosseum, the Roman ruins. Yeah, no, the amphitheater. Amphitheater. Yeah. Yeah. Oui.
Le petit.
The the petit, si. Oui. Aquí en La Croix-Rousse.
You need to go tout droit, right? Just metro.
Okay.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Or
or you can take the bus here, just métro Croix-Rousse.
Croix-Rousse, okay.
And when you descend, when you...
Yeah, go down.
Il faut... C'est marqué le massif.
Massif, okay.
Vous devez juste... Vous pouvez demander à quelqu'un, c'est là-bas.
Okay.
D'accord?
Parfait. Merci beaucoup. Bonne journée. Okay, so she recommended taking the bus. But I have a feeling it is walking distance. Hai says she does speak English. Yeah, she knew some English. So she recommended it's on towards the right, but I think she said 10 minutes towards the right. Teatro Gallo-Romain. It's the Theater of the Three Gauls, the amphitheater of the Three Gauls. April says they're like, we have no clue what you're saying. She understood amphitheater, she understood. But the thing is, a lot of the Leonese get confused with the other amphitheater, the other theater that we visited yesterday. So obviously you can find your way via GPS. The thing is, I don't have a second phone. I really don't like using a second phone, but in the cases like this, especially since it's so hot, and this is a city I'm now aware of, it might second phone, it requires me to get a second SIM card. So that's the second challenge with the second phone. Requires me to buy another SIM card, which I can do. So I may do it for the rest of this French trip, as to not meander too much in super hot weather. But yeah, today I don't have a second phone. And I can't use a GPS on my live streaming with it. The moment I exit. Robbie says, wrong way. Bed